Okay, so here's a thought. What if the most dangerous thing to ever come out of space wasn't an asteroid or aliens, but a tiny parasitic fungus? That's the premise of this movie, and let me tell you, it's as wild as it sounds.
It really is. I mean, the idea of Skylab falling out of orbit in 1979 and leaving behind a tank of fungus that eventually causes a zombie outbreak? That's such a unique and bizarre starting point for a story. It's like they took a real historical event and turned it into this darkly comedic, sci-fi horror ride.
Exactly. And what's so clever is how they connect the dots. The tank crashes in the Australian outback, sits there for years, and then microscopic cracks let the fungus escape. Fast forward to the present day, and this thing is buried under a self-storage facility in Kansas. It's such a ridiculous chain of events, but it works because it's so unexpected.
And then you've got these two night shift workers, Cake and Naomi, who accidentally stumble across it. I love how the movie sets them up as these totally ordinary people, just trying to get through their shifts, before throwing them into this insane situation. It makes the whole thing feel more grounded, even as the story gets crazier.
Right, and Joe Keery as Tea-Cake is just perfect. He's got that laid-back, slightly quirky vibe that makes him instantly likable. And then there's Georgina Campbell as Naomi, who's this young mom just trying to make ends meet. Their chemistry is great because they're so different, but they balance each other out.
Totally. And what I really liked is how they're not portrayed as heroes. They're just two regular people who are completely out of their depth. It makes their reactions to everything feel so real. You can't help but root for them, even when they're clearly in over their heads.
And then, of course, you bring in Liam Neeson and Leslie Manville as these former Pentagon operatives. I mean, Liam Neeson as Major Quinn, you know he's going to bring that intense, no-nonsense energy. But what I loved is how the movie plays with that. He's not just a stoic action hero. There's this edge to him, like he's carrying some baggage from his past.
Yes. And Leslie Manville as Colonel Trini Romano is such a great counterbalance to him. She's calm, collected, and clearly the brains of the operation. Together, they have this dynamic that feels lived in, like they've been through a lot together. It adds another layer to the story because you can tell there's history there.
And that history becomes really important as the story unfolds. They're not just there to save the day. They're grappling with their own past mistakes and trying to make things right. It gives the movie a surprising amount of depth, especially for something that's so over the top.
Speaking of over the top, let's talk about the fungus itself. The way it's portrayed is so creepy and unsettling. It's not just your typical zombie outbreak. This is a parasitic organism that takes over its host's brain. And then, just when you think it can't get any worse, the infected explode. It's such a unique twist that keeps you on edge.
Yeah, the whole Walking Dead before a lights-out explosion thing is such a clever way to raise the stakes. You're not just worried about the infected attacking, you're also waiting for them to go boom. It adds this extra layer of tension that keeps you guessing.
And that's what makes the movie so entertaining. It's not just the action or the horror, it's the way it leans into its own absurdity. The script is so off the wall, but it's also really smart. It knows exactly what it is and doesn't try to be anything else.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of that comes down to the team behind it. David Koop, who wrote the book and the screenplay, has such a knack for blending science and spectacle. I mean, this is the guy who wrote Jurassic Park. He knows how to take these big, outlandish ideas and make them feel grounded and engaging.
And then you've got Johnny Campbell directing, bringing this zany, high-energy vibe to the whole thing. There's this sense of fun and unpredictability that runs through the entire movie. Even in the darker, more dramatic moments, there's this underlying sense that the filmmakers are having a blast. And that energy is infectious.
Speaking of infectious, how about Vanessa Redgrave's cameo? I did not see that coming. She plays this elderly, suicidal client at the storage facility, and her performance is just, wow. It's such a small role, but she makes such an impact.
Oh, absolutely. She's only on screen for a few minutes, but she brings so much depth and emotion to the character. It's one of those moments that catches you off guard because it's so different from the rest of the movie. But it works. It adds this unexpected layer of humanity to the story.
And that's what I think makes this movie stand out. It's not just a mindless splatterfest. There's heart and humor and even a bit of social commentary woven into the chaos. It's ridiculous, yes, but it's also really smart and well-crafted.
Exactly. It's the kind of movie that knows how to have fun while still giving you something to think about. And it's not afraid to take risks or be a little weird. That's what makes it so memorable.
So the big question, is it worth seeing?
Oh, definitely. If you're into dark comedy, sci-fi, or just want something completely different, this is a must-watch. It's not for everyone. If you're squeamish or don't like over-the-top humor, it might not be your cup of tea. But if you're willing to embrace the madness, you're in for a treat.
I agree. It's one of those movies that you just have to experience for yourself. It's not perfect, but it's so unique and entertaining that you can't help but enjoy the ride. I'd say it's worth the price of admission.
And with a rating of MA and a solid 7.5 out of 10, it's clear that this movie delivers on what it promises. It's ridiculous fun, plain and simple.
Well said. So grab your popcorn, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride. This one's definitely worth checking out.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.